Good to see you this morning.
The following 5 minutes is a personal Labor Day message on the subject of inflation from Indianapolis Mayor and candidate for U.S. Senate, Dick Lugar.
This market has opened for a century at 6 o'clock in the morning each morning. My great-grandmother, my mother, my grandmother, I have all shopped here. It's right across the street from my office. It's a beautiful place. The difficulty about the market now is that the prices are high. It's not the fault of the standholders. It's the problem of inflation throughout our country. It's the most serious problem that we have because it could undermine our savings, our insurance policies, certainly undermines our wages and what we can buy in this market now. It's very important that we understand how it happened and what we can do to stop inflation. Now, how it happened is not hard to explain. President Ford the other night talked about the Congress of the United States. He talked about the housewife being a better economist than the experts in Washington, and he was right. Because he pointed out that the Congress of the United States and inflation have gone hand in hand. And they certainly have over the last 10 years as we follow those two lines. One of them, the congressional expenditures, the other, prices. They both are interchanged. They both look the same. They come from the same cause. And that's Congress spending much more money than it was taking in. Those dollars rattling around in the economy chasing goods and services. This chart illustrates very specifically for fiscal year 1973 how it came about. The Congress had $232 billion in tax monies that you and I paid to use for services in this country. But the Congress spent $246 billion, $14 billion more than it took in. That's what we call deficit spending. It's gone on for the better part of a quarter of a century at about that rate. And Senator Bayh of Indiana voted for expenditures of $271 billion. Senator Bayh not only went along with his congressional colleagues with a $14 billion deficit, he spent $25 billion on top of that. Now, how can a man vote for that? Well, it's what you call the old politics. It means that you go from one group to the next for worthy causes, for good reasons on occasion, promising to spend and to spend and to spend, far beyond anything that might be coming in, far beyond anything that the rest of your congressional colleagues are willing to vote for. $39 billion of deficit spending in 1 year. And that's an average production of spending for Senator Bayh. Now, this market used to run at a deficit. It lost about $100,000 a year for a long time. Until I came into office and until we had a new market master. Then at that point we began to make money. Take the budget of the city of Indianapolis, for which I've had responsibility during these past 7 years. We've balanced it every year. We've cut the property tax rate for civil government, the responsibilities that I had every year. We've known our income. We've kept our expenditures within that income. We've progressed in this city with many new services, and we all want progress, and we all want new services that help people. But let's be clear about this. You can't have progress without a stable dollar. It's a cruel game to promise things to people in dollars that go down in value each year. And if we're serious about our pensions, about fixed income people up against the wall, about saving for the education of our children, about the value of our wages right now, we know we've got to stop inflation. And you do that by electing men and women who will cut the deficit spending, who will balance budgets. I pledge to cut deficit spending. I pledge to be a part of balancing the budget of the United States of America for the benefit of this market and all the people who use it and for the stable prices that we need in this country.
Paid for by the Indiana Republican State Central Committee.